Pirate Nation on X says the UK government responded to the anti-digital ID petition with nearly 3 million signatures. You ready for this? I know you're all shocked. They said they will introduce a digital ID to help tackle illegal migration. And if you believe that, I got a bridge to tell you, which is the same shit they've been peddling since day one with all this. It's like, that's not what this was even for in the first place. That's been debunked infinite times. I said, in case there was ever a doubt that the UK government hates the UK people, wow. Even after being community noted for the blatant lie, they are still running with a false narrative to get the digital ID pushed through. Insanity. And I quote tweeted here with Carson Farms. Keir Starmer's post has been community noted. Ready for this? I know you're worried about the level of illegal migration into this country. Digital ID is another measure to make it tougher to work illegally here, making our borders more secure. I'm sure, by the way, Keir Starmer, I'm sure that's what he wants it for. Ours is a fairer Britain, built on change, not division. Readers added context. It is already a requirement to have a work visa for most people to work in the UK. Illegal migrants do not have a work visa, yet the problem exists that they work illegally, cash in hand, etc. Digital ID does nothing to stop illegal working, which this post would suggest it would, which is classic because that's what these always do. They say, "Oh, it's for this," when it's not going to change a damn thing. God says that's nothing to do with illegals. And dude even got community noted. And they are still trying to push this narrative. Laugh my ass off. They passed the Online Safety Act saying it would be used to fight child porn and immediately used it to censor videos of anti-government protests. They have zero credibility. The UK needs to overthrow their dictators. It only takes a quick look at Soviet Russia or communist China history to know how this plays out. I don't even know if I'm allowed to comment on that because that might sound like I'm inciting violence. But I guess what I will say is history has shown that if you push people enough, they go one of two ways, I guess is the YouTube friendly way of handling that. At this point, angry Twitter comments citing useless online petitions and old men screaming at angry clouds on Saturday, even in thousands in center of London, ain't going to change shit. They try something else already. This guy said, ha ha ha, the UK is fucking clown show, bro. 3 million people sign a petition saying stop this shit. And they're like, nah, Starmer probably struggles to maintain an erection unless he's reading 1984. Anonymous, if only you knew how bad things really were. And that takes me to this petition, which has nearly 3 million signatures. Rounded up, we're at 2.8. It says, do not introduce digital ID cards. Again, this, you need to be a verified member of the UK to sign this for it to count. We demand that the UK government immediately commits to not introducing digital ID cards. There are reports that this is being looked at. Parliament will consider this for debate. Great, because it has more than 100,000 signatures. In fact, it has almost 30 times that. Government responded. We will introduce a digital ID within this parliament to help tackle illegal migration, make accessing government services easier, and enable wider efficiencies. We will consult on details soon. So this is a massive FU to the petition saying, do not do this. And they say, we will do this. That's our response. The government has announced plans to introduce a digital ID system, which is fit for the needs of modern Britain. We are committed to making people's everyday lives easier and more secure. Read, know everything about everyone, be able to restrict and block access to things they decide that they don't want you to be able to see, and enact new rules that never existed or would not have been able to exist before the advent of digital ID. This is some of the scariest shit that has ever existed in modern humanity right here. What's happening? To putting more control in their hands, oh, I bet, including over their own data, and to driving growth through harnessing digital technology. We also want to learn from countries which have digitized government services for the benefit of their citizens, in line with our manifesto commitment to modernize government. Currently, when UK citizens and residents use public services, start a new job, or, for example, buy alcohol, they often need to present an assortment of physical documents. Yeah, like a fucking license? What? To prove who they are or things about themselves. Uh-huh. Yeah. And what is the problem here? What are you trying to fix? Seems like that's working as it's intended. What? This is both bureaucratic for the individual and creates space for abuse and fraud. This includes known issues with legal working and modern slavery. Oh, here we go. Starting to use big buzzwords to scare people. While the fragmented approach and multiple systems across government make it difficult for people to access vital services. Oh, that's what it is. Because you don't have a digital ID, you're not going to be able to get to the hospital now. That's why you need the digital ID. Further, there are too many people who are excluded. Like 1 in 10 UK adults don't have a physical photo ID. So they can struggle to prove who they are. Well, it sounds like they need to get a fucking photo ID, bro. How is that our problem? That they don't get their ID that has been universally accepted for centuries. Like, why do we need to change this now? So can struggle to prove who they are and access the products and services they are entitled to. That is not my problem. If they want to go buy a fifth of vodka, go get a fucking photo ID. That's not my problem. What are we doing here? To tackle these interlinked issues, we will introduce a new national data ID, national digital ID. This is not a card. This is how it's going to be abused, but a new digital identity that will be available for free to all UK citizens and legal residents aged 16 or over. So it's available, not mandated. You know what else is available and not mandated? The photo ID that 1 in 10 UK adults don't have access to. So it sounds like you're going to run into the same problem here. Although we will consider through consultation if this should be age 13 or over. Oh, good Lord. Could you imagine if 13-year-olds had to get digital IDs too? Oh my God. This is legit 1984. Dystopian as fuck. Over time, people will be able to use it to seamlessly access a range of public and private sector services with the aim of making our everyday lives easier and more secure. Oh, never mind, guys. I didn't read this far last time. I'm sorry. I didn't know it's for your safety. That changes everything. Oh, okay. It's for your safety. There you go. Bring on the digital IDs, right? It will not be compulsory to obtain a digital ID, but it will be mandatory for some applications. Okay, so it is mandatory. For example, the new digital ID will build on gov.uk One login and the gov.uk wallet to drive transformation of public services. Oh, good Lord. This is so bad. Over time, this system will allow people to access government services, such as benefits or tax records, without needing to remember multiple logins or provide physical documents. I do not need to provide physical documents right now in America to access my tax information or to access anything. I just need to provide my login credentials that I already have with my driver's license or my passport that already exist. It will significantly streamline interactions with the state. Oh, so they don't want to have to review the licenses and IDs. They want you to do all the work. They want to save the money on their end, saving time and reducing frustrating paperwork, while also helping create opportunities for more joined up government services. Read, we can pay off our buddies with more money with this. International examples show how beneficial this can be. Look, if you got to sell us on other places that do it, on why we need to do it, you're already starting from a bad place, bad faith argument. For instance, Estonia's system reportedly saves each citizen hours every month by streamlining unnecessary bureaucracy, and the move to becoming a digital society has saved taxpayer money. You can become a digital society all you want as a conglomerate company or government. I don't care. But don't force me to join into that. You want to digitalize everything you're doing on your end? Great. Have at it. That's not me. That's you. By the end of this parliament, employers will have to check the new digital ID when conducting a right to work check. So the same thing that they're doing right now with the Social Security or passports or whatever they have over there. This will help combat criminal gangs who promise access to the UK labor market in order to profit from dangerous and illegal channel crossings. Oh, okay. So the criminals are just going to stop being criminals. They're just going to cease to exist and go away once you enact this. Gotcha. I'm sure it's foolproof. It will create a fairer system between UK citizens and legal residents, crack down on forged documents, and streamline the process for employers, driving up compliance. Hey, just comply. Just comply. Further, it will create business information showing where employers are conducting checks, so driving more targeted action against non-compliant employers. For clarity, it will not be a criminal offense to not hold a digital ID. Hey, yet, give it time. And police will not be able to demand to see a digital ID as part of a stop and search. Again, yet, give it time, because you can't force that immediately. This is one of those progressive processes. Once it starts rolling out to the masses, 5 years from now, 8 years from now, maybe not even that far in the future, you'd be like, okay, hey, now that we have it out and the system's perfected, now everyone needs to get it. And now it is required. And now the police can demand it from you. Privacy and security will also be central to the digital ID program. We will follow data protection law and best practice in creating a system which people can rightly put their trust in. I have so many questions. Where's the money going? Who's running the digital ID system? How much money are they making from it? Who's related to the people running that organization? None of these questions get answered in this. It's always backroom deals with politicians. People in the UK already know and trust digital credentials held in their phone wallets to use in their everyday lives. Yes. Guess who I trust over the government? I trust Apple. I trust Apple over the government with my digital ID information. I know that's sad to say, but I do. I trust them with my private information over the fucking government. Because they know how digital protection works. The government gets hacked how often? From paying for things to storing boarding passes, the new system will be built on similar technology and be your boarding pass to the government. Digitally checkable digital credentials are more secure than physical documents, which can be lost, copied, or forged, and often means sharing more information. Wait, a digital ID cannot be lost, copied, or forged either? What are you going to do? You got to prick my finger for blood when I go somewhere? And biometrically scan my fingerprint to make sure it's me everywhere I go? Yeah, that's not dystopian at all. Who's asking for this? Now, I would get it if you told me the vast majority of people in the UK were voting for this and saying, this is what we want. But that's not what's happening right now. The overwhelming majority of people in the UK are staunchly against this, wholeheartedly. I make videos covering this, and overwhelmingly, all the comments from people in the UK are saying, thank you for covering this. Thank you for putting a magnifying glass on this. Please continue to talk about this. Starmer's an idiot. He's a douchebag. He's a moron. No one likes him. We don't understand what's happening in the UK. We need more voices speaking up on this, which is the reason why I keep covering this. And the other reason is I don't want to see this shit float over to the US, because once the UK enacts this, then it starts floating everywhere else. This is scary to me. We will launch a public consultation in the coming weeks and work closely with employers, trade unions, civil society groups, and other stakeholders to co-design the scheme and ensure it is as secure and inclusive as possible. There you go. That's, by the way, coded language in here. That's how you know who's behind this. The WEF. Following consultation, we will seek to bring forward legislation to underpin this system. Department for Science, Innovation, and Technology, Maxim Sutcliffe, which, yikes, bro. Yikes. That was a mouthful. I will say, too, this is not going over well with the vast majority of people. Preston Byrne, this is the lawyer that is currently alongside my lawyer, Ron Coleman, suing the UK, well, specifically Ofcom, for the speech enactment that they were going after 4chan with. He said, Americans talk to each other about the UK behind closed doors. You know, we're not impressed with the UK's surveillance and censorship programs. We're really unimpressed with the UK's extraterritorial jurisdiction claims. A soft boycott of the country is forming. Fresh blow for Keir Starmer as major firm rules out helping Labour introduce digital ID cards because they don't have public support. Isn't the whole point of the government to represent the people of said government? I mean, unless you're in like Russia or China or North Korea, I guess. I thought like in the free world that was the whole point of the government. Maybe I misunderstood it. He continues, said, imagine you're a U.S. company looking at reform's commanding lead in the polls, and that party's explicitly pro-freedom agenda. Are you really going to risk your business cozying up to Labor to develop unpopular tech that might be balloted in 18 months? Absolutely not. And not just balloted, but Berman oil balloted, as in you do the work and you might not get paid. No, thank you. Beleated is a term of art, by the way. I've never heard the word beleated, by the way. We need to, hold on.
Oh, another one. Dear Strongman, how do you type with gloves on your hands? Oh, even I know what to do with this one. Beleated.
Apparently beleated is a term of art, by the way. Preston continues. He goes, oof, Times Radio. It's a program that needs to be decided at the ballot box, not in the company boardroom. The government's digital ID program lacks a clear public mandate. Yeah, that right there. Where is this mandate coming from? Why is it such an urgent thing that needs to be done right now? That is still, they haven't convinced me that this is something that needs to get done. And Palantir will not be participating, says the UK's head. This is massive, by the way, with Palantir, head of Palantir in UK, which I was going to talk about as well. This is making headlines like everywhere. Mike Benz says, Palantir, actually, they could be the first to profit off of the UK's digital ID monstrosity, and they're snubbing it on human rights grounds. Big Brother watch. Even Palantir, the surveillance giant mining health and security data worldwide, is saying that the UK's digital ID plan is a step too far. We've truly gone through the looking glass. Keir Starmer must take note of the mounting opposition and scrap plans for an intrusive mandatory digital ID system. Nobody wants this, not even spy tech companies. So let's see what they have to say.
Proposals to introduce a new form of digital ID in the UK are ones that we have been widely linked to online. So many people are talking about Palantir's involvement with that program, and I want to say that we will not be participating in that.
You will not. So tell me why.
That is massive, by the way. Like massive. With Palantir backing down, UK is probably like, fuck.
Well, it's actually, the answer is on a couple of levels. One is I have actually personal concerns about digital ID. That's both on a technical level. I think there are other ways of addressing the challenge that we have with engaging with government services online. I think there are ways to improve that wouldn't require a wholesale new form of ID. And I think it does open up the risk of misuse as well.
That's the biggest concern. Is all they're doing is talking about how, oh, this is going to be great and helpful and save money, and now you'll know who you are. I'm like, bro, there's no guarantees of any of that you're telling us. And this opens up the door for so much bad stuff to happen.
But also, it's a problem on a corporate level. So Palantir have long had a policy that we will help democratically elected governments to implement the policies they've been elected to deliver. And that does mean that often we are involved in the implementation of very controversial measures. However, digital ID is not one that was tested at the last election. It wasn't in the manifesto.
Yeah.
So we haven't had a clear resounding public support at the ballot box for its implementation. And as you said, we're seeing a wide divergence of views and a lot of controversy around it. So it isn't one for us.
That is a really interesting and important statement from a company of the importance and size of Palantir.
That is wild. I'm not going to listen to the whole thing of this because this has been going on forever. But suffice to say that nobody wants this to go through. And with Palantir also on board, stopping it, I wonder what happens next. I think that this is a wild response from the UK government and Parliament to say, oh, yeah, we'll consider it. And the consideration is, yeah, we don't care what you think. And then Palantir comes in from the top rope and be like, well, we don't want to do this either. And the UK government is going to have to come back and be like, well, we're still going to move forward. It's like, bro, who's even with you on this? And why do you keep pushing forward if the citizens and companies do not want this? And they're warning against it, saying this is a really bad idea. Do not do this. Where is it stemming from? And who's giving the authorization to keep pushing forward for it? So yeah, that's what we have right now. And I will definitely be keeping an eye on this because I have a lot of people asking me to do that. So for now, I'll leave that one there.